guys, I hope you're good. One of my friends has been watching my videos and said that they fancy trying some hill walking and did I want to go and do some together? And I said, yeah, of course. And then my friend said, do you fancy doing some tent camping? And I said, absolutely not, over my dead body. So here I am, tent camping.
The journey didn't get off to the best start, with multiple incidents on the M25. When it looked like we'd made it through all the trouble, we got stuck in a huge thunderstorm and someone almost hit us. Eventually we made it into the Peak District and got settled into the campsite. After a few minutes the storm started again, so we retreated to the tent for the rest of the evening.
Okay, 6 letters beginning with L. Deadly sin concerning brightness. Lust. Cool.
The next morning was equally unpleasant, so we headed into the village for a big breakfast. We're staying in Edale, which I featured in a recent campervan video. It's a nice village with a church, a shop, a cafe, a couple of pubs, and the perk of being at the start of the Pennine Way. We're going to have a short walk and maybe eye up some good wild camping spots for the future. After a short way, we spot this hill and decide we want to climb it. It turns out to be incredibly steep, but it had a well-defined path, if a bit overgrown in places. Once we made it to the top, we were rewarded with some great views. Well, kinda. That's August in England for you. I tried to shelter behind this wall for a break, but the wind was battering it from every direction, so I just kept walking. There was a big plateau at the top of the hill and another small peak. I think it may be Grinslow Knoll, but I'm sure if it's not, someone will be along in the comments to tell me off. We found a slightly sheltered footpath to stop for lunch and watch the clouds go by. I just adore this type of landscape. I could have stayed here all day, if not for the fact that it was freezing, so we headed back down. There was no way I was going to go back down the same way we'd come up, so we took the easier path on the other side of the hill, which would end up back on the Pennine Way. It was a really pleasant walk down and would be a better way up for anyone with mobility issues or if the weather was any worse. There's the hill that we climbed. We went up on the left, across and then down on the right. From here it's a short walk back along the Pennine Way and through the village to the campsite. The site is on the same grounds as the Visitor Information Centre. They have a picnic area and a few different camping fields, including one beside the river. And this one for adults only. Unfortunately, when we arrived it was full, so we ended up in a different field which varied in busyness throughout our stay. The location was perfect, the views were breathtaking. There was some train noise, but I didn't think it was too bad. This was home for the stay, and I must say I was very impressed with how it stood up to the weather. Facilities on the site were very clean, but a bit dated. I was not happy that the showers were coin operated, costing 20p for 2 minutes, and the hairdryers were 50p a pop, so I'd be waiting until I got home to do my hair. Honestly, I've never seen anything like this. Paying £25 a night, I would expect to at least be able to have a wash for free. Once I'd parted with my cash, the shower was actually pretty decent. Back at the tent, we enjoyed about 5 minutes outside before some of the other guests annoyed us, but we won't dwell on that. And then of course it started raining again for the rest of the night. We were up early the next morning and packed up the tent. We had to be off the site by 10:30, which I think is a little on the early side, but it did mean we got to do a bit of exploring on the way home. We drove along Edale Road, which takes you right up into the hills. You go right beside Mam Tor and then go down through Nethers Pass. And that's where we stopped to take some photos and stretch our legs. We explored this cave for a while before getting back on the road. And look what we saw! A steam engine. In fact, better than that. 2 steam engines. Somehow, I managed to make it to the next stop without dying from excitement. And, just as well, look at it! This is Edale, part of the Longshore estate, owned by the National Trust. I couldn't find much information about the stones, but there are a number of similar formations throughout this part of the Peak District. We had a great time climbing the rocks, and it was a lovely way to end the trip. I wouldn't say I'm in any rush to give up the van life, but I think in the future I wouldn't be totally against sleeping in a tent again. Thank you as always for watching, and I can't wait to take you along on my next adventure.